And we are live. Once again, it is the Thursday morning edition of the Field of 68 Best Bets podcast and Best Bets live stream. And today, Jeffrey, we have a very special guest. We're going to bring him in right now. The one and only KenPom. Kenny, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
How are you? Rob had no idea you were coming on. This is an honor. It's probably more of an honor for us than it is for you. Getting up at 7 a.m. in Utah, having to deal with looking at me and Rob Doster. But it is an honor. You're the first guest. We've been doing this since November 25th, Ken, and we have not had a guest. You are the first guest.
I don't even know what to say, guys. It's I know it's an honor for you guys, of course, me being on the show, but it is an honor for me as well. I don't think I've never met Rob, so it's, just on that alone is kind of a big deal for me.
Yeah, it's a big day for you, so congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Ken, listen, the first thing, so I'm looking back. First of all, your Wikipedia page is loaded with good info, if you didn't know.
It has not been updated in about 10 years, and about 25% of the stuff on there is false, so just so you know.
Were you a meteorologist? Is this true?
That is true. That part is true, yes. I was a meteorologist.
Were you on TV or just behind the scenes guy?
Come on, look at this face. Do you think I was on TV?
Listen, I was on ESPN with this face, so anything's possible, okay? Anything.
Yeah, and I was a meteorologist for the government, so behind the scenes stuff, doing the dirty work, putting out the blizzard warnings, Jeff, to protect you from, going out there and driving in adverse conditions. That's what I did.
I appreciate that. So when did your analytics for college hoops start? I've been subscribing now for 10 years or so. I've gotten better over the 10 years. I'm still not completely up to speed. We'll get into that in a minute. But when did the website start? How did it start?
It was early 2000s, really, when it started. Probably 2003, 2004, when I started doing the efficiency stuff and the four factors and all that stuff. Really started kind of Moneyball. The book Moneyball had come out. There was a lot of talk about analytics in baseball, and I was just kind of looking for my fix for basketball, and there was nothing going on. So I just said, well, I'll start it, and we'll see what happens. And I never really had any notion that it would turn into what it turned into, but here we are.
You're a billionaire now, right? Billionaire.
Pretty much, yeah. Just living the life, and yeah, all the good stuff that comes with being a billionaire, Jeff. That's what I'm doing right now.
So, Ken, I'm always curious because I've been, since we started this company, I've been doing a lot of spreadsheets. I want to know, how long does it take you to get all of the data from a night's worth of games into the site? Just the process of taking all of that information and putting it into the spreadsheets that I'm sure you're using. How long does that take?
Not very long, actually, Rob. There's no spreadsheets involved anymore. It's that, part of the development of the website over the past 17 years has been to just steadily automate more and more of the processes. And so now it's pretty well automated. This year has actually been a great stress test on all that, because in a normal year you'd have over the course of the season maybe 20, 25 games rescheduled, and most of those were on one night when you had a snowstorm or something. And obviously now you're having 50 games a week that are rescheduled, and so yeah, it's pretty well automated in terms of just getting the data, crunching the numbers, updating the website. It's definitely not what it was even 5 or 10 years ago, where there were a lot of late nights kind of making sure errors were fixed and handling unexpected events.
So now you're just kind of kicking back on the couch and watching the money and the numbers flowing.
more watching the numbers. But that's part of the motivation, right? Is that I'm obviously a fan, and I don't enjoy staring at a computer screen and fixing errors and box scores and things like that. I would rather be, watching a riveting Duke versus Wake Forest game, on a Wednesday night. So all that work is designed to basically allow me to free me up to watch games or go to games in a normal year. So yeah, that's kind of the whole purpose behind that.
So how did I mean, you mentioned that it was kind of like the Moneyball effect and everything that got you into it, but why was it college hoops? Like, were you a college basketball fan? Like, do you have a favorite team? Like, how did you end up in this sport specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a big college basketball fan. It was like basketball was like the only sport I was, competent at growing up. Like, I obviously wasn't good at it, but so I was just really liked the game, and grew up on the East Coast. Grew up in the DC area at a time when ACC and Big East hoops was king. So that helped kind of develop my interest in the sport. And I've just always had a real interest in it. And not to mention, like, I like the NBA too, but college basketball is just a huge, like, data wrangling challenge. There's 300 plus teams. You can't possibly know everything about every team. And so that's like part of the reason my website is useful is that, when you need to, figure out like what Northern Illinois strengths are, you have a reference to do that.
Oh, we've been doing that on this show. We've been doing that quite a bit.
I mean, I love it because honestly, there's just so much info on your site, like in different types of info. Like I just looked up and I'm like, your ref ratings. I kind of get into the whole refs thing. And I tweeted out the other night, I'm like, it really seems like Bo Borowski is on every single Big Ten game. And people like kill Bo for that. I actually really like Bo. But I looked at it and I'm like, he's fifth. Kip Kissinger is number one. Roger Ayers, which doesn't surprise me, is number two. Like you've got that. You've obviously got who plays at the fastest pace, which I thought would be Alabama, and it's actually Coppin State, right? Coppin State number one. I mean, there's just so much info in there. I still feel like, listen, Gary Parrish's top 25, just in case you didn't know, Ken, he literally steals it from you. Like his top 25 is your top 25. Just
I keep waiting for the royalties from Gary.
I mean, he really should give them to you because it's almost identical. All right, here's my big question.
Can I just say I really am enjoying, 10 years, 12 years after the fact that everybody discovers KenPom. Jeff is here like he has pace.
It's awesome. It's all awesome.
He has offensive rebounding percentage.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a good stat too.
A decade late to the data revolution, Jeff Goodman, always on top of it.
No, I just listen. I'm not gonna ever say that I'm not more of a guy who's gonna watch, and I think everybody is, right? Everybody should be a guy that you start watching the games, of course. But I think what's great about the analytics now is the ability, and baseball obviously started it, but the ability to then further whatever thoughts you have about that team, about that player, or whatever, to be able to dig in deeper and maybe say like, hey, I didn't know that, right? I didn't know that, or I was wrong about that.